In the tender sanctuary of Ronald's embrace, he cradled his 8-year-old daughter Vicky with a perfect mix of gentleness and assurance as he tenderly bathed her. His heart was engulfed in profound grief. Tears streamed unceasingly down his cheeks as he softly murmured to her, "You left us far too soon, my sweet girl. How can I possibly move forward without your bright light to guide me?" Speaking to Vicky, he clung to a fragment of hope. "Daddy's right here," he said, his voice laden with a desperate plea for even the faintest hint of her presence, but he was met only by the suffocating silence left by her absence. As he faced the devastating void that Vicky's passing had created, a deep despair enveloped him. As he was about to rinse the shampoo from her hair, Ronald was overcome by a terror so intense it sparked a primal urge to escape. Later that night, well past midnight, the only light in Ronald's bedroom emanated from a dim bedside lamp that cast eerie shadows across the room, which was faintly scented with green tea, a nightly ritual he once cherished with his wife, Alice. Despite the soothing aroma of the tea, sleep remained elusive for Ronald. That evening, after they had sipped their tea, Alice had fallen into a deep sleep quickly, but Ronald lay awake, haunted by his spiraling thoughts. Hours later, just as the embrace of sleep began to overtake him, Ronald was jolted awake by soft whimpering sounds. Initially, he questioned his senses, but when Alice clutched the tail of his shirt tightly, he realized she was in the throes of a nightmare. He turned to her, gently stroking her damp forehead, and whispered, "Did you have another frightening dream?" Through her tears, Alice replied, "Yes, I'm terrified I'll die and leave our daughter. It feels so vivid." Ronald, attempting to calm her fears, reassured her, "It's just a dream, nothing more. It won't become reality. I'm here, and I'll protect our family, no matter what." However, still shaken, Alice sobbed, "Why do I keep having this dream every night? It feels so real. I'm scared I won't be here to watch her grow." Clasping Ronald's hand tightly, she implored him to vow to protect their unborn daughter at any cost. With a soothing tone, Ronald replied, "Don't worry unnecessarily, my love, I promise. Together we will care for our family." Ronald held her close, finding solace in her presence, which served as a reassuring reminder of the enduring strength of their community. As he listened to Heather's steady breathing slowly turn into gentle snores, a small smile appeared on her lips, a sign that she had found some peace in her slumber. In that serene moment, Ronald felt a wave of gratitude and joy wash over him for having Heather as a friend, a person whose kindness and vitality significantly enriched his life. From a young age, Victoria had shown a deep fascination with the natural world, dedicating herself to the care of a small garden that thrived under her attentive oversight, mirroring the nurturing love Alice had invested in preparing for her birth. Victoria's affinity for nature and her emerging creative talents stood as a living tribute to Alice's lasting influence. Ronald and Alice's marriage was grounded in a solid partnership and profound love, which endowed them with the fortitude to navigate life's challenges together. They had entered into matrimony at a young age, brimming with dreams and ambitions. The ensuing years were an emotional roller coaster as they endeavored to start a family, a period marked by hopeful expectation and careful planning. Their endeavors were eventually crowned with success when Alice became pregnant, a joyous event that further cemented their unity as they meticulously prepared for their new family member's arrival. Their close-knit community, akin to an extended family, rallied behind them, sharing in their happiness and offering steadfast support. Alice, ever the pragmatist, had meticulously organized everything for the baby's arrival. However, their joy was overshadowed when Alice went into premature labor due to an early rupture of membranes, prompting an urgent rush to the local maternity center. Despite her detailed preparations, Alice faced a difficult and increasingly dangerous labor. Her blood pressure escalated, complicating the delivery amid significant discomfort and growing concern. Holding on to her dream of motherhood, she persevered, even as her health began to deteriorate rapidly. The medical team labored relentlessly to manage the complications, ultimately ensuring Victoria's safe birth. Tragically, Alice's health declined further post-delivery, leading to a fatal cardiac arrest and hemorrhage, a devastating loss that left Ronald to raise their daughter in the loving way Alice would have desired. Years later, Ronald was confronted with another heartbreaking event, organizing the funeral for Victoria, who had passed away under circumstances eerily similar to her mother's. In the aftermath of this profound loss, Heather, a close friend of the family, provided solace and support, reinforcing the enduring strength of their community ties. In the wake of a difficult period, Ronald found a pillar of strength and support in a family friend who epitomized the community's spirit of solidarity and resilience. During this time, Victoria's grandmother, Heather, moved in with Ronald, previously living a solitary life after her husband's death. Heather found a renewed sense of purpose in helping Ronald manage his grief. She brought with her precious memories of Alice, her daughter and Ronald's wife, whose love had long been the cornerstone of their family's unity. In helping Ronald, Heather found a new mission in preserving the memory of her granddaughter Victoria, and in providing steadfast support to her grieving son-in-law. Heather's unwavering presence offered a comforting solace to the entire household amidst their shared sorrow. Victoria, a vibrant reflection of her mother Alice, not only inherited her artistic talents but also her profound love for nature, both of which had deeply influenced her brief yet impactful life. Her legacy continued to resonate with everyone who had known her, even after her tragic death caused by a regrettable accident. The local healer, burdened by guilt, confessed to having carelessly left medicinal herbs within reach, which piqued the curiosity of a child as spirited and inquisitive as Victoria. The village was shrouded in deep mourning as they grappled with the realization that a moment of youthful curiosity had led to such a devastating loss. From a young age, Victoria's passion for botany was evident, a passion she shared with her mother. By the age of 3, she was often found in the garden with her grandmother Heather, her small hands busily engaged in nurturing their verdant oasis. This activity was more than a mere pastime. It was a cherished ritual that fortified their bond through a mutual reverence for the wonders of nature. The garden became a vibrant classroom and a sanctuary for them both, alive with the colors and scents of flourishing plants. Each morning, as the dawn cast a golden glow over the landscape, Heather would walk through the garden that Victoria had helped tend with love. Despite the signs of age on her hands, Heather cared for the plants with tenderness and diligence, honoring her granddaughter's spirit. The garden, vibrant and full of life, stood as a heartfelt tribute to Victoria, capturing the joy and beauty she had brought into their lives. One evening, when Victoria failed to return at the sound of Heather's dinner bell, a wave of panic swept through the family. After an exhaustive search, Victoria was found on the outskirts of the village, her face alight with the thrill of her adventure, clutching wildflowers that added a touch of whimsy to the tense atmosphere. Ronald and Heather's relief at seeing their daughter safe was palpable, mingled with an overwhelming joy that only served to deepen the familial bonds forged through love and care. As Heather tended to her garden, filled with vibrant blooms reminiscent of the ones Victoria had so adored, her thoughts frequently drifted to her daughter. Each flower served as a bittersweet reminder of Victoria's affinity for nature, often accompanied by silent reprimands born from the terrifying prospect of ever facing such a loss again. The tranquility of the village was shattered when the devastating news of Victoria's sudden demise spread. The community, which had long respected the elderly healer for her extensive knowledge of herbal remedies, was stunned by her accidental involvement in the tragedy. Known for her secluded life in the forest and her attire made of unique fabric, similar to that found in Victoria's mouth, the healer faced the unexpected consequences of her actions, highlighting the fragile balance between the enchanting allure of nature and its perilous hidden dangers. Under Ronald's guidance, the villagers, armed with torches and driven by a mix of fear and urgency, approached the healer's modest dwelling. As they gathered in the tense nocturnal air, they discussed the recent discovery of dangerous herbs linked to young Victoria. Inside the healer's cottage, a veritable treasure trove of assorted potions, dried herbs, and medicinal plants showcased her deep understanding of natural healing. As the cramped room filled with concerned villagers, the healer, overwhelmed by sorrow, expressed her profound remorse. She explained that the herbs were intended solely for medicinal purposes, designed to combat serious illnesses, and were never meant for a curious child like Victoria. It appeared that during one of her unsupervised explorations, Victoria had encountered these potent herbs, leading to her untimely and tragic death. Victoria, whose spirited nature often led her into adventures, had encountered a man in the forest who Despite his seemingly kind demeanor offering fruits and flowers, harbored darker intentions, on the day she was found unconscious, it was revealed that she had been given herbs intended to induce a deep, unnatural sleep, a detail she was tragically unaware of, given her innocent and trusting nature. A piece of fabric from the healer's clothes, found near where Victoria had been discovered, suggested that the healer had indeed met the girl during her unfortunate exploration. This revelation tied the healer to the tragic events more directly, casting a shadow over her once respected figure and underscoring the unintended dangers that even well-intentioned actions can provoke in the complex interplay of human interactions and the natural world. The young girl had inadvertently strayed too close to the healer's residence, ignoring the previous warnings to avoid the vicinity. This critical lapse in judgment led to catastrophic consequences. As the village grieved and made preparations for Victoria's funeral, a profound sadness enveloped the community. In these difficult times, Ronald stepped forward as a decisive leader and arranged a meeting with the village elders. They collectively decided to establish new safety measures to protect the children of the community. They emphasized the urgent need for increased vigilance and protective oversight, especially when the children were near the alluring yet perilous forest. Following the heart-wrenching incident, Victoria's grandmother, Heather, found comfort in the garden that her granddaughter had so dearly loved. Each plant she tended to was not just a fragment of the landscape but a vibrant, living tribute to Victoria. As Heather nurtured each bloom, it felt as if Victoria's gentle spirit was tangibly present, with every breeze through the leaves whispering solace into her grieving heart. This tragedy profoundly affected the close-knit community, sparking deep collective reflection and strengthening their resolve to safeguard their young ones. Victoria's vibrant and inquisitive nature was to be both cherished and remembered. The quaint village, once animated by Victoria's lively spirit, now carried a somber atmosphere as the community united to honor her memory. Once a beacon of joy and brightness, Victoria's personality had brought immense happiness to the village. In the wake of the tragedy, the villagers, united by their shared sorrow, pledged to vigilantly watch over their children and reinforce the communal bonds that united them, all in tribute to Victoria's spirit. In a shocking turn of events, the community was unsettled by the discovery of a fugitive who had cleverly disguised himself as a simple forager among them. This man, living off the grid, had sustained himself by clandestinely gathering rare herbs and elk antlers to sell, all the while expertly hiding his true identity. His hidden life began to unravel after his sinister intentions towards young Victoria were exposed. Known for her adventurous spirit, Victoria unwittingly became the catalyst for uncovering his deceitful existence, prompting the community to take further precautions to protect themselves from such hidden dangers. During their regular excursions into the forest, Victoria became the unwitting victim of a sinister plot. A man, masquerading as a healer, concocted a plan to incapacitate her with sedatives and sell her to a childless couple for a large sum of money. Fortunately, this nefarious plan was disrupted by Heather, who fortuitously came across Victoria in a compromised state. Heather's prompt actions and her immediate call for assistance were instrumental, initiating a swift emergency response that proved vital. A rigorous manhunt ensued, eventually leading to the capture of the impostor who had exploited his guise to carry out his malicious intent. Concurrently, Victoria's father, Ronald, played a paramount role in his daughter's recuperation. His knowledge of the herbs used to sedate Victoria enabled him to provide her with meticulous and affectionate care at their home. As Ronald dedicated himself to ensuring her comfort and safety, signs of recovery began to manifest approximately 8 hours later. This highlighted not only Victoria's inherent resilience but also the robust support of the surrounding community. In a remarkable twist of fate, the community's prompt and unified response was crucial in avoiding a severe tragedy and set the stage for a period of healing and reconciliation. When Victoria eventually awoke naturally, it brought profound relief to her family, who had been anxiously watching over her with escalating concern. This incident marked a significant turning point for everyone close to her. From that moment forward, Ronald and Heather significantly increased their vigilance over Victoria's well-being. They took extra precautions to ensure she was never left alone, thus fortifying her safety at all times. Ronald, especially, found a deep sense of fulfillment and solace in honoring a heartfelt vow he had made to his late wife, to protect their daughter at all costs. I warmly invite you to share your thoughts and reactions to this moving story in the comments section below. Your insights are highly appreciated, and I thank you for engaging with this narrative.